Hi, everyone. I'm Roxanne, Carne, personal stylist. Welcome to my channel, and thank you so much for watching. And I'm really, really excited to bring this episode of my introducing series to you. And for those of you that are newer to my YouTube channel, my introducing series is really me introducing brands that I love and have a great relationship with, pieces that I wear for myself, pieces that I actually curate for my clients, and really getting to get you to know these brands and hopefully love these brands as well. So today I'm introducing you to the awesome and amazing Samantha Dong, who is the founder of Ally Shoes. And Ally Shoes has been in the market now for just a few years. So brand new, pretty much still new business, but making waves on the shoe scene. And I will tell you why. These shoes are absolutely amazing in terms of comfort, in terms of style. And I buy them for my clients literally all the time. And every foot that I put in these shoes when I get them, all my clients say the same thing. They're like, I feel like I'm walking on the cloud. This doesn't feel
Mm-hmm.
like a normal pump.
We
What
hear
is
that a lot.
this?
Yep.
Yes, yes. So I really want to share this with you because I really think as women, sometimes we put ourselves last, or a lot of times we put ourselves
Mhm.
last in terms of our image, in terms of our wardrobe, in terms of our accessories. And shoes can be tricky. Cute shoes can sometimes be very uncomfortable. So when you find a combination like this with Ally shoes that are super cute and very, very comfortable, it's a no-brainer. So I'm so pleased to introduce you to Samantha. Samantha and I started kind of partnering together. I would say, Sam, it's been about 2.5 years now, I think, right?
Yeah, something like that pre-COVID.
It was before
I
COVID.
feel
Yeah,
like I
like
lost count after the lockdown, but yeah, that sounds about right.
that whole year just went by. So yeah, it was a
Hmm.
whole year before COVID when we connected. And I just remember I was so excited to learn about you because I'm all about, especially in the fashion and style space, I'm all about promoting small business. I'm all about promoting women-owned businesses as well. And we're both women of color as well. And it is a very interesting space and such an exciting time to launch. But launch something that makes sense that people will love and
Yeah.
actually use and wear again. So what I want to do is I want to start off by asking you, Sam, to
Mhm.
tell us about your unique story about what led you to start Ally Shoes, to design this type of shoe and to launch. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks so much for having me today. It's just so great to be here and to be able to share our story with your audience. So really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So my story, with starting Ally, I always tell people I started Ally by accident, quite literally,
Okay.
and it's because I did not come from industry. I was always sort of a business person, started my career in management consulting. So always sort
Mhm.
of a heavy heel user, if you will.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and, like you said, we kind of, uh, I would say we put comfort last. Sometimes as
Hmm.
professional women, we want to, look confident and
Yes.
also, appear taller, which, to me, I'm super short. So a few inches really lift me up. And
Right.
even though those shoes are always painful, I just learned to deal with it like many of my
Yeah.
peers.
Yeah.
But I actually went on a big hiking trip when I was about to start business school with a
Okay.
few future classmates. It was a trip to Mount Kilimanjaro.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's always something that's on my bucket list. I really want to
Yes.
get it done.
Yeah.
Had a great time, but on the way down I actually descended too quickly, so
Ooh.
fell a couple of times and was
Ooh.
just not doing the right thing. And when I left the mountain, I actually realized I injured some tendons in my big toes. So as a result, the entire 2 years at business school, we had all those balls and events,
Yes.
formals, semi-formals
Oh
that I
my
have to wear
gosh.
heels to. It was painful.
I can
I had to
imagine.
start looking at inserts and orthotics, even in kind of closed toe boots and other dress shoes, because I
Yeah.
just could not handle discomfort anymore.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of the trigger for me,
Hmm.
because that literal pain just bothers me all the time. But
Right.
I think also uh, that visceral reaction and pain also made me question this premise of heels are supposed to be painful and we're just supposed to deal with it.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, it doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to kind of challenge the status quo a little bit and see, can we actually create a pair of beautifully designed and crafted
Right.
shoes that look great but are also very comfortable, pain-free, and something that women can actually wear in and walk in for an entire day without even
Yes.
thinking about the pain or the potential pain. So
Okay.
that's a long story, but that's kind
No,
of how I got started.
that's how it happened. But
Mhm.
you mentioned a couple of things that I often think about that saying, beauty is pain. I think growing up, we hear this message all the time,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
in terms of things that we get done to our bodies, waxing, for example, right?
Mhm.
Things are not very pleasant, and to kind of achieve this overall aesthetic, but it doesn't have to be that way. And we have to take care of our feet. Like I will tell you, this is going back probably about maybe 6 or 7 years ago, but I fractured one of my toes by accident, of course.
Mhm.
And then the following year, I fractured another toe on the other foot.
Oh no.
And I took for granted how delicate our feet are, how
Mhm.
strong they are because they hold up our
Right.
body every single day. We're on the go. But I mean, my whole world changed for a good like 2, 3 months while it was healing, and I had to wear that awful boot. And it really made me appreciate, yeah, we need to have some comfortable shoes, and
Mhm.
it's really, really hard to find. And, the thing is that a lot of, and it's getting better. I will say it's getting better, but a lot of the comfort shoes out there, for a long time, they were not cute. They were
Mhm.
not attractive. They looked
Yeah.
like, nothing against old ladies, but they looked like old lady shoes.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, just very clunky and just
yeah,
doesn't have that sleek design.
no
Yeah, I
style.
totally agree.
Absolutely
Hmm.
right. So I'm glad that it's trending in a better way. But what I love about Ally shoes is that your shoes are actually super stylish, but also
Hmm.
offer that ultimate, comfort factor. So I just have another question for you tied to when you launched the business. What made you
Hmm.
choose the name Ally? What's behind that name?
Yeah, so naming a brand is very difficult, and I think it's one of those things that, I didn't realize how difficult it is. So
Yeah.
probably struggled for a couple of months and was just looking up different wordings and thinking
Mm-hmm.
about brainstorming for a while.
Yeah.
But for me, I wanted something that's simple, kind of easy to remember, but I also wanted to really express the ultimate goal of our brand, which is to kind of lift women up. And
Yes.
we're doing it through shoes. That just happens to be what we make, but the
Yeah.
mission of the brand is to empower women.
I
And
love it.
this actually came up in one of the conversations when we were doing kind of early interviews, discovery interviews with professional women, and
Yes.
someone mentioned, I am usually the only woman, in finance in the boardroom, and kind of,
Hmm.
always the only one there, and my shoes are my best friend.
Yeah. It's my
So
ally. Right.
that's yeah,
Yeah.
that's my ally.
Yeah.
So when she said that, I was like, that's what I've been looking for. And
Ding,
the
ding, ding.
more I kind of think about that word, it just keeps coming back to me. It really encompasses everything that I'm trying to express, and what
Exactly.
our brand represents.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's
I think it's the
not just
perfect
in work.
name.
It's every every big moment in life, your
Yes.
wedding, right?
Hmm.
First job, interviews, date night, whatever it is that you want to feel a little bit supported, we will be there.
Right. I
So
love it.
yeah.
And I like how I didn't even really think about it until you said it, that you were both figuratively and literally lifting women up with the
Yes.
shoe. I think that's fantastic.
Mhm.
So what would you say, Sam, makes Ally shoes so unique when compared to other brands, in your own words? Tell us.
Yeah, so I will say first and foremost, we
Hmm.
are created by women for women, which is,
Hmm.
in my research, I found that, and again, this is also getting better. We're seeing more women designers, but a lot of the known brands, luxury brands, are designed by men without
Yes.
really taking into account, how painful these shoes could be.
Oh yeah.
So when I was kind of assembling my team, I really wanted a women-led team. So
Hmm.
our chief science officer, Dr. Clark, is a female podiatrist who
Okay.
has a lot of passion for shoes, but also understands the pain that a lot of her clients, and usually a lot of her female patients, tell her. Our designer, Sarah Jaramillo, is also a very talented footwear designer who has experience both with sneakers as well as the Aquatalia of the world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think in designing, she brought in a lot of expertise from both sneaker design and dress shoe making, but also, again, as a heel wearer herself, she brought in, what she wanted if she were
Hmm.
to create this perfect pair of comfortable heels. So I think that's the foundation, is we
Yeah.
are created by women for women. And then, more tactically, what makes it more
Yeah.
comfortable, one is Dr. Clark's brainchild, which is we have these patent pending supportive insoles, where she really put in very strategic cushioning in all the key pressure points.
Yes.
So, what she did, and I have a pair here, that essentially, you can't
Yes.
quite see it, but there's toe support, there's arch support, and the deep heel cup. And she really helps you balance your weight. So instead of putting all of your weight at the
Kind of at
front,
the front
um,
and the ball.
which is
Yeah.
which is the big problem with heels,
Yes.
we're shifting your weight, so you're actually putting more weight around the arch, which is where it
Right.
should be. So that's a big part, where when people step into our heels, it doesn't feel like a 3 inch when it's a 3. It feels like
No.
a kitten heel, and with our kitten heel, it feels like flats. Um,
I love it.
and a lot of the cushioning, Sarah kind of brought in some best practices from sneaker making, so it's very
Hmm.
breathable, very kind of bouncy. So it really makes you almost feel like you're wearing sneakers sometimes. And the
Totally.
last part is we have very inclusive sizing, and I think that's something we don't talk enough about in footwear,
Right.
especially for closed toe pointed shoes, where we really need very inclusive, both lengthwise and also
And
widthwise.
with.
And that's
Yeah.
another thing that I'm sure your
I
clients have issues like
I
that as
know. They totally do. And that's one of the things. I mean, I keep saying how much I love your shoes, but all of the things that you just laid out, Sam, is exactly like why there are such wins for me and my clients because, and I face this as I've gotten older that my feet have gotten a little bit wider. I have clients that have wide feet that they're wider than normal wide, and because of that they don't have a lot of options for shoes at all, much less like really good looking ones. So I love that you have various width options available, and you're really, you know, you're it's all inclusive. I mean, you're not just getting, you know, one shoe in one width and that's all that it comes in, and take it or leave it. If it doesn't fit, hey, it doesn't fit. These, you know, clients and customers of yours actually have a lot of options.
Yeah,
So I think that's really,
absolutely.
really great. And in terms of options too, what I really like is that we have a lot of options in terms of colors, heel heights, and different styles of shoes. So what I want to do, I'm just going to share on the bottom of my screen for everyone watching some of the, and this is not by all means the only types of styles that Ally offers. You know, you can check out their website to see exactly what they offer. But I wanted to show a lot of the popular ones that they have. But these beautiful Mary Jane shoes right here, super super cute. This particular one is in suede, and you know, Ally offers different textures, and I'll show you some in a few moments, and Samantha can speak to that as well. But we've got the Mary Janes. Next to that, we have our kind of like more dressier, snazzy shoes. Shoes that can be shoes that you can wear with, you know, with your wedding dress, like Sam said before, right? Or to a wedding. They have sparkle, they have, you know, shine, they have pizzazz. Let's see here. This I think is amazing. They're different variations of nude. Ally offers 5 different nude shades. And I'm going to actually show you my nude right now.
I
This
love that
gorgeous
color.
caramel. Oh my gosh. When I wear this, I mean, it's like my leg is just extended. It doesn't even look like I'm wearing a shoe, which is what a nude is supposed to do for you anyway, right? But it's a nude for
Yep.
me, right? For someone with my skin tone. And so Ally has 5 different shades available. And just as since I've got the shoe in my hand here, just as Sam mentioned, I mean, you've got this unbelievable arch support. I wish you could feel it through the screen. It is so, so soft. And then that toe support, you can kind of see like the cutouts of where your toes go. It like molds to you. It is so, so comfortable. The pitch on the shoe is just absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. So, so yeah, the nudes are a big one. So 5 different shades of nudes. And then we have flats. So Ally introduced flats. It was about a year ago, almost a year
Yeah.
ago, right, Sam? Yeah,
Yeah, I think almost exactly a year ago, maybe a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so fall of 2020, and the flats have different textures. You know, they're pointed toe flats. You can get all like regular leather, but you can have leather with suede. And I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. And they have, this is the thing, a flat that has actual support in the arch.
So important. So
Yeah,
important.
you do not
Yeah.
see that very often, if at all. So there's that. And then the last picture I want to show you is the beautiful block heel. So for ladies, I mean, like, I'm not going to lie, I love my stilettos. So I've got the caramel, I've got my black, and also my newest addition, which is the kitten heel,
Oh,
right?
I love that. Yeah.
Which is super,
The
super
suede
cute.
looks so good.
It doesn't it look so rich? It is beautiful. And I mean, I even got, I haven't worn these out yet. I got my protective soles put on it by my cobbler. I do that when I get my brand new shoes all the time. So all my Ally shoes are protected, right? With my sole protectors. But I was going to say that, you know, for some women, sometimes a stiletto heel they can't quite balance on a skinnier heel.
Mm.
So it's fantastic that Ally offers that block heel, the wider one that you see on the bottom right, that gives that stability and that additional support. So those are some examples. I'm going to take these pictures off right now of some of the shoe styles that Ally offers. And I did want to also share, in terms of color, different
Mhm.
colors. And these are swatches that I have, and these are ones that I share with my clients for styling options. But we have, this beautiful array of colors. You've got kind of the leopard print. Here's that sparkly kind of silver.
Mhm.
And we've got this beautiful kind of champagne sparkle over here, kind of our nude colors. And then we get into the beautiful suedes, right? Just absolutely beautiful. On camera, this is showing up to be a little bit more cherry red, but this is more of like a wine color.
Yeah.
The website shows the true color better, but
Yeah.
just absolutely just beautiful, 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 beautiful all around. We have the lace. I mean, just gorgeous. So again, I am all about options that are
Mhm.
stylish, that are sensible, but also classic.
Right.
And I
Yep.
think that's something that you nail really, really, really well. Um,
Thank
so
you.
yeah, so when we're talking about the different kind of materials of the shoes and so on,
Mhm.
Sam, tell us, what's the production process like for your shoes in terms of the craftsmanship, the
Yep.
materials, the how long it takes to make one pair of shoes. Tell us a little bit
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah, so this is another thing we do a little bit differently compared to
Mm-hmm.
some other brands out there. The reason why we can offer so many color options and sizing
Mm-hmm.
options, like we have 80 different sizes for any style, because it's because
That's
size four
insane.
through
80.
12 in half sizes, four different width. So, if you think about it, so the
Right.
way we make it work is we actually work with this wonderful bespoke factory I found in Shanghai, which is where I'm from.
Okay.
Um,
Great.
where it's a small factory. They've been around forever, and
Mm-hmm.
they can turn things around in 2 weeks. So
Wow.
and it's everything is handmade. So the way we work is we would typically have some of our more seasonless and hero products in stock, and that's really our black leather pump, what
Yeah.
we call the little black heel. That's still always since day one. That's the first product we launched, still the
Yes.
bestseller.
Yeah.
Our nude collection, which is also pretty, evergreen. So we tend to keep
Mm-hmm.
that in stock. And then
Right.
some of the new styles, like our kitten heel, the block heel, and some, less popular sizes, we would put them as made to order. But with made to
Right.
order, it's a 2 to 4 week turnaround, depending on a few things.
Okay.
But that's a very fast turnaround when it comes to,
For
having a pair
shoes.
made from scratch. And
Yes.
to make the process a little bit easier, what we will do is we want to confirm your fit first. So if
Okay.
it's your first time ordering from us, we encourage you to take our online fit finder. So that's a 10-question quiz anyone can take, and
Okay.
our smart algorithm will tell you what size we think will fit best. And
Nice.
if you order our made to order item, then what we will do is we will send you, it's optional, but we will send you a pair of, let's say, if you order a 38 medium,
Okay.
and it's in a color that we don't have in stock, you'll get a pair of that size in like a black leather or whatever sample or style we
Mm-hmm.
have in stock. And you'll
Okay.
get that right away. So you can try it on, let us know if it fits. If you want to try a few different sizes, just let us know. And so that
Love
way we
it.
can confirm your fit very quickly. And as
Right.
soon as we confirm that, we will make the shoes. And after that, we have your size on file, and our fit is pretty consistent across different styles.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to do the in person, the fitting option again, and you can just order whatever you
Just
want.
what you need,
And
right?
we do have people who come back and order, 5 pairs, 6 pairs of
Yes,
different colors they
different
want.
colors. And that was a
Yeah.
question that I had, especially
Hmm.
for the custom. Once you've nailed it, do you
Then
have customers that come back for more and more and more,
all the
especially as you
time.
release different styles too?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And I know, I mean, I have clients who I've introduced to your brand, and I'll go back to their home and I'm seeing like different colors, or they're telling me, Roxanne, I told my best friend about this, right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing, because when you find something that works and it's high quality, that's the best part.
Hmm.
These are handmade shoes. Um,
Yeah.
and they're for you and they fit well. Yeah, it's not rocket science. It's a no-brainer, and it's a good investment for your
Right.
feet. So I
Yeah.
really, really like that.
Thank you.
um
Yeah. And
I was go-
just
oh,
to
go ahead.
sorry, just to finish the thought in terms of
Yeah.
style, right? You talked about this idea of keeping it classic, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why you will see we don't have that many styles per se. We have
Mm-hmm.
maybe 6 to 8 styles with all the color options that we have curated, but we want
Right.
those to be the one pair that you would gravitate towards, or the 5 pairs that if you have a lot but you use them a lot. I want you to
Exactly.
be wearing them because you like them and they're so versatile. It can go with any style.
Yeah, I think that's really, really, you want to have those core pieces that you don't have to put a lot of thought into,
Hmm.
and they're
Yeah.
your go-tos. And I tell you, my black palms, out of the three that I shared on the video today, I mean, I wore the black pumps I wore as recent as yesterday. And I like actually wearing them to my client appointments, because I literally take them off and show them
Oh.
to show them to my clients too. But there are my go-tos. And again, I'm someone
Mhm.
that I do like a heel. And how fantastic is it to have a heel that's very comfortable, like you said, and it feels like you're walking with a sneaker. And I think too, what is important to realize, and you said this earlier, is that this is a shoe that you can wear literally all day.
Mhm.
I have clients like that work in the space that you used to work in management consulting, where prior to COVID, and it's starting to kind of pick up a little bit now, but they were traveling
Yeah.
Monday through
Mm.
Thursday. They were, at a client site, and they were on like the entire day. And then after work, there's probably a networking event or something like
Yep.
that. These
Yep.
are shoes that they can do all of that in. These are shoes that they can get on the plane with, right?
Mhm.
And not be uncomfortable. I did have a client tell me one time that, she had a really tight connection, and she was like running in her shoes and she was able to do it. And it was
Mhm.
amazing, right? So I think that there's something to be said about having a shoe that is not a sneaker, where you can actually, where you can really do that. Um, so I want to kind of talk a little bit, Sam, about the pandemic.
Yep.
And I'm
Mhm.
curious, especially because you launched the flats really like what, 6 months into the
During
pandemic, right?
Yes. Mhm.
So I'm really curious, have you seen a surge in orders for flats, compared to any of the heeled styles? And I just ask that in the post-pandemic world, right? I ask that
Mhm.
just because I find that a lot of my clients, over the past year and a half, they have become a little bit more comfortable and a degree more like casual in their style.
Mhm.
And a big part of that is shoes. Like they're like, just like, I don't need to wear like a heel anymore. So I'm just curious if you've seen a lot of interest in the flats since you released
Yeah.
them.
So actually, very interesting findings.
Mm-hmm.
So we launched the flats during the pandemic. We were actually at the time working on the Kitten Heel,
Yeah.
and we're kind of planning to launch the Kitten Heel. But as soon as the pandemic hit, it was very clear to us that people were not going to wear heels for a while. So
Yeah.
we kind of accelerated our development with flats and we launched it. And during last year, so we
Mm-hmm.
launched it, I believe, around this time last year. We definitely saw a huge surge in demand for flats. And
Mm-hmm.
these are flats that you can wear at home, when you're doing conference calls, you can, when you're
Right.
walking your dog, go get coffee. And so that was a really good business decision because that's what
Yeah.
people wanted and needed at that time.
Right.
Now, um, that surge kind of went away after a couple
Interesting.
months. And
Okay.
we noticed that, especially this year, we are
Mm-hmm.
seeing, first of all, retail is bouncing back and fashion is bouncing back
Oh
really
yeah.
hard.
Big
We
time.
did last year's sales in the first half of this year. So just a
Wow.
ton of demand, and most of them are heels.
Yeah.
So,
So
we're still seeing some
you're
flats
seeing
order.
people, right.
Yeah,
But heels
especially,
are still a need.
yeah, I think, especially kind of during spring and summer, we still have flats demand, but
Sure.
it's, the demand for heels came back very quickly.
Very
And
strong.
people are also, they're still buying the little black heel, the nude, but
Mm-hmm.
also a lot more bold colors. So, we
Yes.
have our patent leather, we have the sparkly, those are, and, the garnet are very popular as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, in addition to this demand for comfort, which is going to stay and it should, people are
Yes.
also looking to celebrate a little and dress up a little. So are
Come
we
out of
going
their
to see
shell
this?
of that the
Yeah.
pandemic put them
So
in, right?
there's a
Yeah.
little bit of that as well, for
Yeah,
sure.
I love it.
Mhm.
And I was going to also ask you, as we're talking about the colors, I remember earlier this year in the spring summer season, right around I want to say April or so, you had
Mhm.
released, and I believe it was a limited edition, like
Yes.
beautiful, like a lime. I mean, the lime colors. You had sent me a pair to see, and actually, for those
Mhm.
of you watching this video right now, if you go back and look at my spring summer trend report, kind of some highlights that I share, I actually have the pair that Sam and the
Mhm.
team sent me and showed you. Beautiful line. So I'm curious. Do you think that over time that you're going to release kind of fun, different, punchy colors in kind of
Yeah.
small doses, just to kind of change things up
Mhm.
a little
Yeah, and
bit?
absolutely. So this is the first time we tried to have a limited edition color that's a little
Yeah.
bit more daring, not as
Yes.
evergreen, even though it is a green, compared to,
Right.
some of the more classic colors. But it was
Yeah.
fun. And, because we're very much focused on being waste free in our
Right.
production process. So we would just buy a small batch of the material and we'll make until we run out.
Yeah.
And so that will allow us to really offer these sparkles of fun colors,
Hmm.
and for people who really gravitate towards them, you can get them. And
I
then
love
we're
it.
always looking for more kind of evergreen colors, but some of
Yep.
the pop colors will stay. So we
Okay.
also, with the spring collection, we launched our the yellow as well. So we
Okay.
call it the sassy saffron, which is also kind of a a pop color. That
Yeah.
color, though, as we start to sell more and get feedback from customers, people love that color.
Yeah.
So that color
It's
is going to
beautiful.
stay. Yeah.
I love
So
it.
I think we are just going to have a little bit of fun with some of these
Sprinkle a little
limited
dash here
edition
and
pop of
there.
color. Yeah.
I think that's fantastic because people want to, like you said, especially coming out of the pandemic, people are I find there's some people that are going the minimalist route, and then there's some people who are going like the other direction completely, right?
Yeah.
They want the color, they want the fun, they want the sparkle. So I'm glad that your line has a little bit of something for
Mhm.
everyone, which is
Yeah.
which I think is truly, truly fantastic. So I want to ask you from a wearing a business hat now
Mhm.
in the past like few years since you've launched, what would you say is maybe the most important thing that you've learned
Mm.
in your business and for doing what you're doing, serving women in this way? Because you have a great
Yeah.
product, but I think what comes along with that is like the education of
Mhm.
how your shoes are made and why they're so different that people come to appreciate, which I think
Mhm.
is a unique story in and of itself. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious to know, like, what have you had any kind of major aha moments as you've been through this journey with your company?
Hmm. Let me think. Honestly, I think it's really the learning that, you know, you should always listen to your customers. And
Yes.
that is something, when I started, because it's a very personal problem that
Mm-hmm.
myself and all my girlfriends around me share, it's
Yeah.
very natural to say, let's talk to women, let's listen to women and create something we
Mm-hmm.
want.
Right.
But even beyond that, and I thought, that's really, I thought that was, uh, only applies to product creation and kind of the first stage. But
Mm-hmm.
I think, especially during the pandemic, all of a sudden, everything that I thought I had figured out, it went out of the window.
Exactly.
And I don't really, at one point, I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. What am I
Right.
supposed to do in the face of this, you know, first
This
ever
thing that we
pandemic?
never, right, that something
Um,
we never experienced and
yeah,
hopefully
like
we'll
what
never
should
experience
we,
again. Yeah.
hopefully, but anything from what should we talk about in our emails and social media?
Right.
What should we make as our next launch? And are people even shopping? How do you shop when all of our boutique partners basically went out of
They're
business?
closed.
So
Oh,
so I think, it was, I felt fortunate that when we didn't have the answer, we literally turned, or figuratively turned to our
yeah.
audience again and asked them, what do you want?
Like, what do they
So,
want? Yeah.
and that's how we realized, okay, people don't want to wear heels right now, but they want comfortable flats.
Right.
People don't necessarily want to hear about buy shoes all the
Yes.
time on social. They want to learn, how do I balance a job as a working mom?
Yeah.
They want to help support small businesses. So we did a kind of a donation drive for small businesses in New York,
I remember
and we
that.
did those
Yeah.
IG lives to talk about these issues women faced during the pandemic. And
Hmm.
so that made us feel more grounded when we were
Yeah.
doing things that we didn't do before, but we know that's what the community wanted. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so
And that's a
I think that's,
differentiator. Yeah, and I think too, and that's one of the, you're talking about supporting small business, and that,
mhm,
that's part of why I'm doing this series too,
yeah.
because we have voices and we're small enough that we can put our ear to the ground and actually listen to what
Mhm.
people want and are hopefully nimble enough to change, right?
Yes. Mhm.
To really serve, right? Give people what they need when they need it.
Mhm.
You really can't do any better than that. And I think, customers, and this is what turns, customers into those loyal customers, right?
Mhm.
Because you were with them every step of the way. You listened to feedback, you solicited feedback, and a lot of brands don't do that. So I think that's great. I think that's a great lesson that you learned throughout. And, you know, perhaps the pandemic helped, you know, help push
Silver
that,
lining.
right? Yeah, that's the
Yes.
silver
Mhm.
lining. Okay. So
Mhm.
I totally, totally I think that's awesome. So my last question for you, Sam,
Mhm.
is what is next for Ally Shoes?
Lots of growth, and lots of new ideas we want to put out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for us, 2020 was hard. 2021 is much better, and
Good.
we hear loud and clear that people love our product. So
Hmm.
my goal now is just to really get the word out there and have more distribution partners so we
Okay.
can share our product and our story with more women who maybe didn't know about us yet.
Right.
So we have been getting on board with a few online marketplaces like Very Shop. We're on Zola's Wedding Shop.
Oh,
We are
nice.
on this new
That's
platform called Yes She May.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I want to continue doing that and really having more outlets for people to find us. And
Right.
hopefully, when things are back, we would love to be in stores as well again. Just
Hmm.
because people really need to experience them.
They do.
We in terms of the product launches, we recently launched our Kitten Heel, and that's been
Super
great.
cute.
We might have something.
Oops, wrong one. Kitten heel, here it is.
We have another launch in the fall coming,
Hmm.
so that's very exciting.
I can't wait for
Yeah,
that.
yep. It's a very I can't give away too much.
No, I
It's
know.
a very fall friendly style. You know what it is.
So
It's a
I
very
know.
fall friendly style
Yes.
that we hope people will love. Yeah, and we our team has a lot of ideas for other great styles we want to introduce. So
I
working
love
on that
it.
for sure.
So just, I mean, just sounds like a smorgasbord of good things to come.
Mhm.
So that's fantastic. And for our audience members here watching, I want to share information with how you can connect with allies. So I just put the website up. Ally.nyc is the website. Check out their beautiful, beautiful products. And I believe, you have, when you go onto the website, you have the option of joining the mailing list.
Yes.
So get on their mailing list, because the newsletters that they send out are not only about their fantastic products, but they actually have stories of women that are wearing them. I know I've been in the newsletter a couple of times, kind of sharing some styling tips and so
We
on.
love
So
those.
it's a great,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a really, really great resource. So I would encourage you to sign up for that. And then I also put up the Instagram handle. So at
Mhm.
Ally Shoes. Samantha and her team are very, very active on Instagram with posts and stories. Get to know the brand, and support a small business, support a small woman, minority owned business. We're all in it together. And I think that this is just such a success story, that, she launched this fantastic company before the pandemic, pushed through the pandemic, and is just doing better than ever. And we need to support that. And at the end of the day, the shoes that Sam has designed are just absolutely gorgeous, and they're just the fit, the comfort. You will not try anything on like this. And I'm telling you this as a stylist that has worked with, hundreds and hundreds of women and shoes. This is the real deal. So definitely check out Ally. I want to thank Sam, the beautiful Miss Samantha Dong, for joining us for this episode of Introducing. And yeah, it was really great to dig in and share a little bit of your story with my clients, with my audience. I really, really appreciate that. And for those of you
Thank
that
you.
are, yeah, I'm so glad. This took a long time in the making. I was when Sam and I were getting on before. I told her, I was like, I've been wanting to do this like even like during the pandemic, but you know it's a good problem to have, but I've been extremely busy with clients too. But I was just like, man, before another fall winter season starts, like we need to get this done. I want more people to know about Ally shoes, so I'm so excited about that. And
Thanks
then
again.
finally, yeah, no, absolutely. And for those of you that that are interested in learning more about my personal styling services, we can work together in two ways. If you visit rc-style.com, that is my monthly style membership. It's called the RC Style Collective. It's a community of really like-minded women that really want to grab hold and step into their own personal style journey, and they don't know where to start. They're at different places. I am here to help you. So that's a virtual membership. We cover a lot of great information about style, about life, and just really to help each and every one of you out there. And then if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, there's my website, roxannecarne.com. And I am based in Dallas, Texas, but I have clients all over the US that I travel to and also work with virtually. So geography is not a limitation. And I'm just really here to have you really home in on having sensible style and really transforming your wardrobe and transforming your life. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please click like, subscribe, and share, and also click on the notification bell so that you can get the first, notification, I guess, right, of when fresh videos come out. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.